Welcome back to Sippin With Sin, number one podcast about stuff and things stuff across the astral plane, across the universe, across everything. It is what it is. I'm not going through the spiel. Just know that it is the number one podcast of this, proven by people far, far smarter than all of us, except in your heart of hearts, soul of souls. And just let it be what it is, okay? Just do what I say. All right, welcome back. Another episode, another week. It's 107. Yeah, dude. I know, right? 107 episodes. Pretty crazy. But we got stuff to talk about. I don't know why our co-host is over there making noise, doing God knows what. So let's welcome him back to the show, the one and only Mr. Christian.
How's it going, everybody? Feels good to be back for another week.
Christian's over there hanging clothes on a clothesline with, like, clothespins right now. That's what it sounds like.
It's probably what it sounds like. I was just admiring this this new card that I got. You guys probably can't see it because it's shiny as piss. But it for those of you who collect Dragon Ball cards, this card is the Gohan Bursting Rage card, and it's in a whole bunch of like protective plastic and a magnet cover and all that stuff. Because this is one of the first cards that I've gotten that's like actually worth some money. I could pay some bills with this card.
You know
so
what?
That's cool.
Christian's over here showing off cards, but he's not showing off the fact that he didn't come to your boy's birthday. Imagine that co-host, 107 episodes, and doesn't come to birthdays. And he also said, F your Halloween party. I don't care about spooky season. I'm not showing up.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
I said it, and I was smirking.
I want you to know, I tried a pumpkin spice whiskey.
How was that?
Well, I'm pretty sure I almost put on my Michael mask and started going around just staring at people as I sipped it. Fall just like went into my veins even more, and I was transported, and it almost happened.
Yeah. All right. That's good to know.
And then the humidity and the heat was like David Gordon Green kicking me in the nuts and making me realize everything sucks. Because I realized it was July and it's not October.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. That makes sense to me. I totally get it.
Yep. That's pretty much how it was.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess we're ready.
I'm ready for spooky season. I just want it to be known. I think I'm going to start early again. I think I'm either going to start with shows or something in September. I don't know if I'll start movies, but I'm going to start shows.
So you're going to do a movie a day like you did the last couple years?
We've done that now. I don't know how many years. It's like tradition at this point. It does kind of get to be a pain at times. Like, I really enjoy it, and you get to watch your favorite movies, every year. But I also try to, like, branch out and find new movies that either I haven't seen, that I've heard good things about, or I want to experience, or stuff that Mrs. Sin hasn't seen, just to kind of, like, keep building, like, her resume of stuff she's watched. So, yeah, we will do that. We started this year also on Christmas. We did a Christmas movie. Could be horror or just like a normal, like, National Lampoon's Christmas movie for Christmas. And that was actually pretty fun, too, just doing those. Because, I mean, that's like, she gets super excited about Christmas, so. And it was a little easier to put one of those on and not have to worry about our toddler.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah. But I have some news before we talk about, well, I guess I'll just throw that in there when we get to it because Christian doesn't care about, my day of escaping the womb or anything. But we like to talk about what we're watching, reading, listening to, or playing this past week. So, who wants to lead? Who wants to take point on it?
I'll go first this time.
Okay.
Why not?
Well, you just go first then.
Talking, reading, listen to. What have I been doing? I did start reading a book finally. I'm reading it digitally, though. I don't have the physical copy, but it's called Goddess of Filth. It's by an author named
Sounds like a metal
Castro.
band.
Does sound like a metal band. So far, what I understand is it's kind of like the Craft, like the 90s movie The Craft with the witches. You get a bunch of. It takes place in Texas. It follows a Hispanic group of girls. They are in college, and they decide one day they're going to hold a seance, and that ends really badly. And seemingly, like, one of the girls gets possessed by something, and we are finding out that the girl got possessed by some sort of Aztec goddess. But goddess of what? Obviously, the title is called Goddess of Filth. They don't know what goddess she's been possessed by just yet. And the story is really interesting. Like, all the characters kind of have their own little quirks and stuff. I could totally see this being like a 90-minute horror movie. It's right now it seems cool. We'll see if I still like it towards the end, but right now I'm enjoying it. And I'm still at the beginning. I'm not even halfway through the book, but it is fun so far. As far as other things I've been listening to and watching, I did watch a couple of things, so I guess I could go ahead and talk about those right now. One of those being a trailer. I watched two trailers this week. One of them was for Joker 2. I don't know if you saw that
I
yet, Sinner,
did.
but I did watch the trailer. The trailer seems fine. I mean, it didn't blow me away. I didn't feel bored by it. I didn't feel like I didn't want to see the movie. I definitely want to see it. It didn't strike the same chord as the first one, but that might just be because with that first one, it was just so much intrigue with it. You know, we had just come off another Joker character, another Joker actor, another Joker situation, and then we got something that was off the beating path. So now that we have that movie to fall back on from 2019, we can kind of see a little bit of where we're going with this. Even though this one's supposed to be a musical, it didn't really show that vibe too much in the trailer. They showed it just a little bit with some dancing and stuff. But I am interested. Like I want to see how Arthur's psychosis goes, and then he meets this new person who's very clearly this version of Harley Quinn. So I'm really excited to see where excuse me where it goes, how it gets there, how it resolves. Excited, not overly excited, but definitely excited, and I'm hopeful that this will be something that the people will watch back fondly. And aside from that, the other trailer I watched was the final trailer for Alien Romulus. I initially planned to talk about this a little bit longer, but because we are short on time this week, I'm just going to quickly go through just quick little bullets. Um, in this film, there's a group of people that are breaking into a ship, which is called the Romulus, to steal expensive materials. From what I understand, there are a couple of callbacks to scenes from the original Alien and then also Aliens. We see like a version of Mother on this ship. If you guys know from the original, the computer system called Mother, so I thought that was really cool. We see people getting attacked by face huggers everywhere. We see a face hugger essentially doing its thing, going through someone's mouth, and then they have some kind of device that this X-ray machine, essentially portable X-ray machine, so they can see that it's trying to explode out of their chest. So I like seeing that portion. Looks like in this film, the only black dude that I remember off the top of my head kind of seems like he's going to be the android this time around. So that was cool to see. And then aside from that, I saw the release date again, which is August 16th. Very close to my birthday, so I'm going to definitely try to see this one in theaters as soon as possible. And I'm excited for it. I'm actually excited for Alien Romulus more so than Joker. Joker comes out in October. Alien comes out in just another month, which is in August. It's higher on the totem pole, which is crazy because I haven't been this excited to see an Alien film since. Actually, I don't remember the last time I was excited to see an Alien film. I do know that when the last little trilogy came out, or yeah, the wasn't it trilogy? Yeah, the last trilogy came out. I was like cautious about those films, and I liked most of them for my own reasons. But this one, it's hitting a little different for me, and I really hope that the director put his all into it because right now it's looking good. But it's like I said, it's a trailer. It could be shit, could be awesome. Who knows? But those are the things that I watched over the course of this week. Listened to a couple of things, nothing of note necessarily. You guys know what I'm reading, and then I'm still on my House train. I'm on season 7 now of House. Just been blowing through that show in my free time. It's really easy to put on while I'm doing other stuff sometimes as well. But I'm really enjoying it. My favorite character is still Wilson. I just love the show, man, and I hope that last 2 seasons continue to be really good. So please don't rip my heart out, show, because I love these characters and I don't want to see more bad things happen to them. But yeah, that's what I've been up to, man. What about you?
I've been stupid busy. I've been watching Baby Sin. Mrs. Sin has had to go into her work's office for like quarterly meetings, so it's just been solo dad duty, and that with a 2-year-old is a lot of fun and very
I
very
know the
busy.
feeling.
So I haven't got to do a lot. We had birthday stuff going on where Christian shunned me, and we found out that he doesn't give a damn. Other than that,
Yep.
speaking on birthday thing, one thing I'm really excited about, and next week's episode, hopefully I will be able to talk more on this, and I'll be able to give insight, but my lovely wife for my birthday decided to help my struggling need for knowledge of Demon Slayer, and she bought me the complete set of the mangas. So I'll have all the mangas here in the next few days, and I'm going to start reading them. And I can't wait. It's like this really dope collector's box. And then, of course, it kind of like was like a flip side to it. She was like, well, if you read it, there's no way you're going to know and I'm not going to know. Then I'm going to have to read them. So we're going to read them. And I'm beyond excited. I'm super excited for it. So next week, hopefully, I'll be able to tell you, how that's going and my thoughts on it. I'm excited to hear, read it as it was intended to be and see the things that were left out of the show and then kind of compare notes. And I'm stoked for it. I think it's going to be fun. I did start another audiobook. We actually started, me and the missus, she picked it out when we were driving the other day. And it is Bert Kreischer's Life of the Party, Stories of the Perpetual Man-Child. And I'm almost done with it. And it's fun. I've never heard an audiobook go the way this is going. Usually it's pretty much just reading the book. But every now and then he'll be like, damn, I didn't know I wrote it like this. Or why did I write that? Or we'll just start laughing. Or he'll just say something like off and they kept it in there for some reason. Almost like he's talking to the people recording. Like he talks about taking his pants off at one point. He's like, I got boxers on. And then he's just random stuff he'll say in there. But if you're a fan of his comedy, I mean, it's in that light, so it makes sense. And it's pretty good so far. I really do want to read Pet Sematary, but I'm waiting till probably into August, September for that to start it. Because I know I don't think it's super, super long. It's definitely not it. But I figure it'll take me a little bit to go through. So I'm trying to get closer to spooky season for it. And other than that, I watched stuff that we'll be talking about. I watched the trailers Christian was talking about. Time of recording this here in a few days, I'm going to go watch Deadpool with the missus. I'm really excited. Deadpool Wolverine. Hopefully it's good. I don't see how it won't be. I have pretty high expectations, Marvel. Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds. They go well together. Hopefully they didn't screw it up. But I'll give my brief thoughts because I don't think Christian will be able to see it this weekend. So I'll give my brief thoughts probably next week on it. But I have a challenge for Christian this week. I'm going to post a challenge. And this is a theory I heard yesterday, and it intrigued me. So I want to get Christian's brief thoughts on this because I know for a fact he's watched this movie. And if he hasn't, I'm just going to stop this podcast now and I'm going to flip this desk. You've watched Interstellar.
Many times.
Okay. I saw a theory. I've never, ever thought about this. I don't know if you've thought about this. Maybe you have. So if you were to give me a very, 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 for time's sake, Christian, no rant, what is Interstellar about? Time travel, essentially, right? Like wormholes, time travel. That's
Interstellar
obviously
travel,
there's a more detailed answer, but if you were to really condense it down, is that what you would say?
It's about love and interstellar travel, yeah.
Okay. So, this theory had some interesting points. In the opening of the movie, it shows the side of a plane. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This dream, yeah.
Yeah. About an hour later, it shows pretty much the exact same footage of the side of the plane. Which, if you know Christopher Nolan, he tends to not reuse footage or do shit like that unless there is a significant reason. So this person said, I never take stock in the Cooper's dead theories. But hear me out. Cooper dies at the beginning. If you haven't seen Interstellar, I'm sorry. Whatever. It's been out forever now. If you have, go watch it. And I want to hear your thoughts too, because I haven't rewatched it since hearing this theory. And this is our challenge. We're supposed to rewatch it. Christian, you included. Both of us going to rewatch Interstellar with this theory in mind. So the theory is essentially Cooper dies at the beginning. The plane crash. That it's a dream. It's insinuated or said it's a dream in the movie, right?
Yeah, he's having a dream at the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. He dies at the beginning. And they said if you go farther in, there is, and you can, I haven't watched it forever, so Christian, you can probably correct me. There is a Lazarus protocol. Lazarus something.
Yes.
I don't know if it's protocol. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's what they're calling the mission
Okay,
to find the new
Lazarus coming
planet.
back from the dead.
Yeah.
He keeps referring to which, whatever. He keeps referring to the deep sleep or the great sleep or something, death. They said when his kids talk about him, they're not talking about him like normal. It's more like thoughts that you would have for like a loved one that's passed. Is how the kids are thinking of him. The what is it? The transition to at the end when he goes over what the hell is it called, Christian? Very end when he's
When he
transitioning
goes through
over. What is
when he
the?
goes through that wormhole,
Yeah, but what is it?
Gargantua,
It's called something.
Gargantua.
Yeah, Gargantua. There's something about I'll see you on the other side or something. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff about that. Essentially, in transitioning, it's like the afterlife. He's trying to get from the afterlife like on to the next place. He's not in the world. When he sees, I just had her name in my head, Murph. Right? Yeah, Murph.
His daughter. Yeah.
Nobody recognizes him. He's almost like he's a ghost. So they're pretty much saying that Coop is dead the entire movie. And this is all like all the travel and stuff is like an afterlife spiritual thing. Like he's traveling to go get to the afterlife. It's an interesting theory. There's always a million theories with Christopher Nolan movies, which is part of the reason they're so good. So that's our homework. Watch it and see if it holds water.
So
I will send you the
right
video.
off
I
the
have
bat,
to find it where the dude goes in depth on it. So because I did a shitty job explaining.
no, I get what you're saying. Right off the bat, the reason why I don't subscribe to that theory so much is because in the movie when they're talking about him, they're doing like confessionals essentially, like they're leaving video messages to him personally because and the crew has their own messages, whatever, what have you. But with that, they're talking to him like he's gone because he is gone, right? He's on this trip and he's supposed to be gone for so many years. He's supposed to be gone up until the point where his kids are his age. By the age that he was when he left is the age that Murphy is when he finally gets back, because they go to the wrong planet at first and it takes them so many years to swing back around, blah 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 blah. So they think that he left them to go to a different planet or he's dead. So that makes sense because they actually say that in the movie. And the other reason why I don't think he's dead is because one, any Christopher Nolan movie that's not about a specific thing like Dunkirk or Oppenheimer, everybody always says that, oh, this person, this is dreaming, they're dead, this and this. And that's because of not Interstellar, but Inception. After Inception, everything is a dream, everybody's dead, blah, 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 blah. Like everybody thinks those things, especially when it comes to a Nolan movie, because of how popular Inception was and how that went. Now, with that said, the other reason why I don't think that Coop is dead is because beginning of the movie, he's having a dream about a plane that he crashed. So you know that he's a pilot, right? That's the reason why he's on this trip at all to go to a different planet, because he can pilot, right? So he has that. He's smart. We know that. He uses logic and science. We know that. They don't have a lot of people that can do this type of job, that are willing to do this type of job, that are willing to leave their families, that actually believe that there's something else out there. They say that during the film too. They don't say it like verbatim all the time, but they say it enough for you to catch it if you're listening, right? So you have that. Then you have the TARS units and whatnot, the other scientists that want to go to this planet, that want to go to that planet, that want to go to this planet. And the whole movie, essentially, in a nutshell, ends up being love conquers all time, distances, wormholes, all that stuff. Because if they listen to the woman on the ship, who's played by Anne Hathaway, I can't remember her name right now, but her character wants to go to a specific planet because the person that she's in love with went to that planet, and that's the one that they apparently died on, right? So at the end of the movie, when you see her character on that planet actually doing the mission, and he goes back to get her, to find her, whatever, what have you, that wraps up the whole story. So he's not dead. He's gone through all this stuff, and they think that he's a ghost later in the movie because he's not a ghost. He's just in a different dimension, so he can't communicate. So they like I said, they explain pretty much everything. That's a good theory.
Here's
And I'm
actually
going
the stuff they'll said. Like, I'll read it real
okay.
quick. He can't stay on Earth. He has to leave. Lazarus' mission hints that Cooper's death and his journey into the unknown. On the Endurance, the name of the ship Cooper flies, he always refers to the big sleep, which is a clear metaphor of death. The dialogue, the words his kids speak, they sound much more like private thoughts than a person would have, a parent who's suffered an untimely accidental death. Delving deeper into this theory holds together that is apparent throughout the film until the conclusion. When Cooper is in front of Gargantuan, Targe tells him, "See you on the other side, Coop." Dr. Mann tells Cooper, "Right before you die, you see your children." And after Cooper crosses Gargantuan's event horizon, symbolizing the final transition, he sees Murph in the Tesseract. And when Murph is on her deathbed, he's there to greet her on the other side.
Well, he wasn't there to greet her on the other side. Like, unless they're saying Coop was dead the whole time, and then once he greets Murph, she's already dead because he can't greet her on the other side unless she's dead. So that would mean that when he got to the planet, right, once he survived and woke up in the hospital and all that shit, and then went to go see Murph for the final time, that means that Murph's not seeing him and talking to him and giving that speech because my dad promised me. Like, all that shit doesn't exist because Murph is dead. Therefore, Coop is dead. Murph is dead. They're both dead. And then he just goes off on another adventure to go find, I can't remember Anne Hathaway's character's name, but he's going to go find her on the planet that she was right about because love conquers all. That would mean that he's dead the
Christian's
whole movie.
pushing his glasses up right now. Those that aren't watching on YouTube, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, so that would mean that he would have been dead the whole movie, and then
which is essentially what that dude said to start with.
Yeah, no, I get it, but like if he's dead the whole movie,
this is your homework. You can argue it. Watch it again with that in mind, and let's see. Pick it apart then.
I
don't know if it holds water. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I want to rewatch it. And I'm gonna keep in mind. I'm gonna be like, all right. So they're saying the plane crashes in the first 10 minutes.
You hate the movie, Mrs. Sin? What movie don't you hate? You hate so many good things.
Harry Potter.
Oh my God. I thought I hated stuff. You hate more stuff than I do.
No, but okay. Is it the first 10 minutes the plane crash? It's been a long time since I've seen it.
It's the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's like the
first 5 minutes, pretty much we got to just like program ourselves for this viewing this time through, and then we can either debunk it completely or whatever. We're going to say plane crash, he's dead. And we're going to try to keep that in mind and see if it makes sense. Is our homework. If not, then
I don't think because I've seen this movie like 5 or 6 times. I don't think before I even see it that it holds water because if he's dead the whole time, none of the events make sense. Then he just happens to see Murph after she dies, right before she says she's going to go say bye to her family and stuff. And then he goes off on another adventure in space again. That doesn't make any sense because he's dead. So, like, I don't get it. What the afterlife is just what do you the afterlife. Then, if that's the case, the afterlife is another dimension that just replicates space as we know it.
How do you know that's not what Nolan's saying? Devil's advocate here. Christopher Nolan can be on some shit. He can come up with some.
All right. I mean, I'll watch it again. We got more stuff to talk about, so we'll move on. I know that we have like one big thing to talk about. Before we do that, I did forget to mention.
And your mic cut out. I forgot to mention something. Your mic cut out.
Of course it did. I was saying I did forget to mention that I did watch something else recently, and I watched the movie Abigail. For everybody who knows or doesn't know, Abigail, in a nutshell, is about a group of criminals that kidnap a little girl for a ransom. That little girl ends up being a vampire, and
we talked about this already, you know.
Yeah, but I got to go and watch it with my wife, and we had a good time. Like, she didn't really want to see it too much. She expected it to be trash. Ended up liking it a little more than she thought. And what I wanted to say was, watching the movie, like, nothing is shocking, right? Like, you kind of know what's going to happen, what's going on.
It's very predictable.
It is. There's a good time, no alcohol required. Like,
I think it's solid.
I think that Yeah, I think that if I had to give it a rating like 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 6.5 or a 7. Like it's
Yeah, I feel
definitely
like seven's
worth.
the threshold. Like I don't feel like it
Yeah,
deserves or warrants higher than a 7, but I don't
yeah,
think
like
it
it.
warrants lower than a 6 either.
Yeah, it could have. This movie could have very easily been dog shit,
Yeah,
but it wasn't.
it's
So
worth a watch. I definitely recommend it to people. Vampire. It's a little girl vampire murdering people.
yeah,
It's got a good cast.
yeah, it's got a pretty good cast. Like the characters are interesting. Some of the cool. There's one thing that I really didn't like, and I know I didn't either. That I didn't like about the movie is the vampire character Abigail. Like she does a lot of ballet for no reason in this movie, and it's kind of like the one scene in Megan where she's like dancing in the hallway to go kill the dude with like the fucking whatever the weapon is that she had. I can't remember, but she's like dancing her way down the long hallway to the elevator to kill this dude. It's like that, but the whole movie. Every time she goes to kill somebody, she's doing this ballet shit. So like if they cut that out, like I could understand it being a gimmick in the movie like 1 or 2 times, but every fucking time she's doing something, she's doing this dancing
You
thing.
let
If
her
they
do
cut that
her.
out, it'd be fine. I did let her do her, and that's why the movie isn't better than the 7. I think if they cut that
I
out,
bet if you were a
it would have been
vampire, you'd
better.
probably be doing some damn ballet too. Playing with your food, damn, doing some little like ballet shit around.
Hey, how can you argue that? How can you argue that?
I mean, you're a superior being predator. How old did it say she was? I forget. She was old,
I don't think they did. They don't. They didn't mention her
but I
age.
mean, yeah, she's so old. She's done this so many times. She's gotta have fun. Let her
I
practice
mean, but
her.
yeah, if that's the only part of the movie that I just wasn't really messing with, then you got a pretty good movie on your hands.
That was the only part you didn't like, really?
I mean, there's parts of the movie that I thought were kind of lame, kind of cheesy, but like it served a purpose.
Yeah.
So like I could
And it's a
overlook it, but like
quotation mark. It's a kid killer, essentially. Like
yeah, I mean
she's
it's
supposed
a
to be a
horror
child, even
comedy.
though she's older than probably collectively all of them put together. Like if you put all their ages,
Yeah,
I'm sure she's way older.
yeah, it's a horror comedy movie, so you know what
Yeah.
you're getting, but it's worth it. It
Do you think
does
it's
what it needs
better
to
than
do.
Renfield or I'm trying to think of another horror comedy? Renfield, is that the
I
only vampire
do
one I've seen?
I do because with
I would say
Renfield
so. Renfield was
the
yeah.
gimmick for Renfield is like oh he gets these powers once he eats the bugs or
Bug or
whatever.
whatever.
So he's just it's another superhero movie. It's just a superhero movie that happens to have a vampire in it. So it's not the same thing. And then you have Aquafina, I think, and she's the same character in every movie that she's in. So like no offense to her, like do your thing, make your money, whatever. But like those gimmicky things are more egregious and more annoying than the ballerina vampire gimmick. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather deal with that than
All
Aquafina
right.
plus the superhero
Flipping it.
stuff.
Voyager the Meter or
Those
Abigail.
are very different films.
Yeah.
Those are very different
But which
films.
one do you like better?
Um, I think Last Voyage of the Meter is. I think it's a better movie. It just suffers from. Um, I think that movie just needed better direction.
What did you
Honestly,
give it?
it
What is the rating on that? I don't remember.
I don't remember because I'd have to watch it again to give you an honest one. I have to watch it again.
I remember I was a little disappointed. I was let down with it a little bit. Like I wanted
I
more than what it gave
yeah
me.
yeah. I mean, as far as vampire movies go, Last Voyage of the Meter is a little more serious, and that's what I'm looking for. When I have the vampire films are essentially creature features, right? So like when I'm watching a creature feature, I want the creature to be a little scarier, a little more unstoppable. But when you're watching this one, you got a group of criminals that are they could honestly, if they just got their heads out of their asses, they could have solved this problem. But then again, they were all fucked up in their own way, so we got what we got. But if everybody was on their shit, like they would have lived. But anyway, we'll move on to the next large bit of what we got before we have to bounce out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was your transition. I thought you were leading the way there, and you just stopped.
I could keep going. So like we'll go ahead and move on. Like obviously we both watched House of the Dragon, and I'm sure that you have a detailed set of notes
Nope.
that Mrs. Sin gave you that you
Nope.
want to go over. Nope, no notes. Okay. Well,
Told you
thank God your
it's been the
boy.
week from hell. So we're butt ass naked in these streets.
Never fear, your boy is here. I do see in the chat real quick that your wife said that she loves some Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. I feel that, but the question is, Miss Sin, which do you like more? Do you like Harry Potter more or Lord of the Rings more? There is a right and wrong answer to that question. While
My
you're
answer is
mowing that
Lord of the
over,
Rings.
mm-hmm.
Because unpopular opinion, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan. I never got
How's
into it.
that?
I just never got into it. I never really cared.
I think that it's really easy to not be into Harry Potter, into Harry Potter.
I mean,
But
I think I've seen most of them, but I just don't. I don't know. They never.
That's not good. If you think that you've seen most
Yeah,
of
I
them,
mean,
and you're saying
I have no desire. Like, there's nothing that I'm like, wow, I need to go watch whatever damn movie. I don't care. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't get my spider sense tingling. There's nothing that I'm like,
mm, mm,
I don't know.
well,
It's not for me.
your wife says Harry Potter more, and I gotta agree, man. I like Harry Potter more too. I think that Lord of the Rings is great. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great. However, the reason why I like Lord of the Rings is because the lore behind Lord of the Rings. That shit is great. And I'm a lore hound, so I love that shit. Harry Potter, I think is just it's a better, not better. It's just more grounded. Like the lore is good and it's there, but with the way that the characters work in the books and in the movies, like I try to talk about just the books because like Lord of the Rings books are obviously going to be better than the movies unless you just have to see
Wait, so
stuff
which
in
one do you
order to
like
imagine
better?
it.
Because I'm confused now.
I like Harry Potter better. I think Lord of the Rings is the reason why Lord of the Rings, in my opinion, is so good is because of the lore. Harry Potter works better because of the lore, but it's also good because of the way that the characters are and the way that that shit works out without because when you start reading Harry Potter, like we're Harry, right? We don't know shit. We don't know anything's going on. And that's just how it is. When you're reading Lord of the Rings, it's a little different. Like you have Frodo that you're following for that part of the story, but like honestly, man, they're just fucking traveling and running into some shit. You know, that's like every fucking story and movie and TV show that you've ever watched. It's not the reason why it's so cool is because of the side characters, right? Frodo's boring as shit, but the people that he follows, the people that he runs into, the creatures that he runs into, that's the part that's the shit. Harry Potter, you get Harry, who's an interesting character. His backstory is interesting. The characters that he runs into is interesting. The characters that he's with are interesting. Like all that's how. Like, I didn't even mean to get on this, but like Harry Potter just has more on the front end to give you. Lord of the Rings, you have to fucking power through some shit and then you get into things. But once you get there, it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that either one of them are bad. I just think that it's easier to hop on the Harry Potter train, see where that train takes you, and then get the backstory, then get all that stuff. You know, it comes the full package. Lord of the Rings, you really gotta be ready to sit down and like figure some shit out, and then get into characters like Gandalf and Gollum, and why Gollum is the way he is, and how he got that way, and why the rings are even a fucking thing, all that stuff. Anyway, hopping off of that train. Let's get into some House of the Dragon. And you clearly, like people listening, Sin is visibly like disturbed.
I mean, I threw up in my mouth a couple
answer.
times.
But now look at it. Look, I know if you're watching, look at his face. He looks disgusted.
I
Explain
don't
yourself.
know. I think I'm like, don't get me wrong. I understand there's like a massive Harry Potter following, and more power to you. My wife loves it. She's watched it more times than I can count since we've been together. It just does nothing for me. I don't care. I don't care about it at all. It doesn't appeal to me. It feels to me, and I watched it when I was younger. It feels just, I don't know, childish at times. And
I mean, it was essentially made for children when it started. Yeah.
And it just doesn't.
But Harry Potter is dark
I
as
don't remember
shit,
how old
dude.
I was. I feel like we did a school trip to watch the first one. Back in the day when like schools would take you to watch a movie for like certain awards. Do you remember those days?
Yeah. I remember we saw Mouse Hunt at one
Dude,
point.
those used to be the days because you'd be like, hell yeah, we're going to a movie? Let's go. And you'd be so excited.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we watched whatever. Is it Prisoner? Is that the first Harry Potter?
No, that's not the first one.
Shit. No, Sorcerer's Stone. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. See? Who cares?
They changed the name of that too in certain places to the Philosopher's Stone, which I don't agree with. Whatever. That's not even the point. The thing is, like in a nutshell, I think that Harry Potter has more to offer you immediately, while Lord of the Rings has a lot to offer you on the back end. That's the difference, I think. And like I said earlier, Harry Potter is good with and without knowledge of the lore. Lord of the Rings, specifically for me, is only that good because the lore is awesome. If the lore was weak in Lord of the Rings, I would hate it. But because the lore is so good, that's why I like a lot of the stuff that's in that world, right? So that's what makes it great. So like, I mean, I don't think I can explain it better than that. It's just Lord of the Rings has awesome lore, but you have to be willing to get into that lore. Harry Potter, you don't have to be that well versed in the lore in order to get there. And I think it's because of who the stories are targeted towards. So we'll just leave it at that, and you guys can argue and hate me in the comments.
I mean, people. I bet more people will pick Harry Potter over than Lord of the Rings, probably. I don't know. That's a good question, listeners. Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings? Which one you picking?
I think if you're an older listener, then it's going to be if you're young. I don't mean like child young.
I feel like Mrs. Sin's parents they love both, but I don't know which one they like more. I think they really love Harry Potter also. Like, they're a Harry Potter family. And I'm like the oddball out there. I'm just like, meh.
I mean, but that's fair because a lot of people don't like a lot of things that we like, right? Horror, for an example. Star Wars is another example. There's billions of people that really don't fuck with Star Wars. And I understand. I used to be one of those people. I didn't really like Star Wars, and then I just decided to watch it one day. And that's the thing with Star Wars. It's so easy to hate it on the front end, but when you start getting into the lore of Star Wars, it's fantastic.
I never hated Star Wars.
I didn't hate it. I just didn't care. Like you said about Harry Potter, it's not really my thing. I don't care. Lightsabers were always cool. Nobody's gonna. You can't look any human being in the face. You can't look any human being in the face and say lightsabers aren't cool. They're fantastic. But I didn't know any of the lore. I didn't know what a kyber crystal was. I didn't know why they were different colors. I didn't know anybody other than Luke and Vader and Yoda, right? Like I didn't know why the Emperor was a piece of shit. Like I know all these things. And then once you start figuring it out, it's fantastic. But that's another example of you have to be willing to get into the lore of Star Wars before Star Wars really takes hold of you and like takes you down that road, right? Same with Lord of the Rings. Harry Potter, you don't have to do that. You just literally watch a movie, read a book, bam, you got everything you need. But yeah, that hopefully is the last thing that I'll say about that on this pod because I
feel
really
like
want to
probably is like losing her mind right now. I'm probably gonna get like.
I would love for her to comment right now while we're live and tell me what she thinks.
We'll never get out of this subject.
I want it. I like if she
my week of being in hell continues with this conversation. I feel like
you did this to yourself. You brought this up, not me.
I brought this up.
You did this.
Actually, you did because you said Mrs. Sin loves Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, and then you want to know which one, and then you went down the rabbit hole.
I'm pretty sure you said that, but whatever. It's recorded. We can.
No, you read it. You read her comment.
I did read her comment. You're right, but I was gonna move on. She says right now, I meant I've got a Harry Potter. I've got a Harry Potter tattoo. Is what she says. I don't have one for Lord of the Rings yet. LOL. That's fair. There's way more Harry Potter tattoos than Lord of the Rings.
He likes Harry Potter more than Lord of the Rings. I've read all the books and seen all the movies. So I feel like it's probably gonna be more Harry Potter.
I agree. Like, it's not because my wife loves Harry Potter just like your wife loves Harry Potter. Because she likes it so much, it made me more interested in it. But once she started explaining to me some of the lore for these characters and the backstory, I was like, oh, this is dope. But I already liked it because I read the first book way like years and years ago, like 1999 or whatever. Read the first book and I enjoyed it, but I didn't, take the time to read other stuff because I wasn't really reading novels back then. It wasn't my jam. Then the movie came out and I enjoyed the movie a lot. I fucked with the first Harry Potter movie a lot. I had it on VHS. I watched that shit all the time. Back when I was doing this kind of thing, but I got into other stuff. BRB going to watch Harry Potter, says Mrs. Sin. That's hilarious. But like Harry Potter, like I got out of it because I didn't stay up on the train. I saw that people were watching it. I saw that people loved, all the actors and stuff, but I didn't watch all the movies. And then once I decided to take the time out to go and watch those movies, especially with somebody like my wife who loves those movies, I was like, yo, this shit is fantastic. So I had a lot of fun and I enjoy it. And I'd rather watch a Harry Potter marathon than the Lord of the Rings marathon any day of the week. Not saying I don't like Lord of the Rings, just saying Harry Potter gives me more. It fills me up more in a way, more from it. Like it's watching the Harry Potter movies is like eating a steak dinner, and watching the Lord of the Rings is like eating a bunch of junk food. I'm still gonna get full, but at what cost? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if that's a good analogy or not, but like that's just kind of how it is for me. And they're long as fuck. And I don't mind watching stuff that's long because if it's good, it's worth it. But like I said, Harry Potter just has a little bit more to offer me personally. Anyway, finally,
look into my eyes, Lawrence, and you'll see that I'm now quite dead on the inside.
You're quite dead because you don't understand why.
I'm dead because I'm tired of hearing about Harry Potter.
Nah, man, Harry Potter's the shit. Sounds corny, but watching Harry Potter is like, come. I feel you, Mrs. Sin. That I get it. I get it. There, it scratches this nostalgia itch, and it feels good. I totally understand. All right, House of the Dragon. No more stops. The opening does have. The Boys is over. Oh, I guess we didn't talk about The Boys.
No, we didn't.
That's right, because I watched The Boys when we recorded last time. Full disclosure, I had already seen The Boys, so I didn't even write notes down. Let's talk about House of Dragon first, and then The Boys, because I actually have the notes here that I can go off of.
Well, why don't you talk about Boys first? That way you can just read your notes.
Okay, in The Boys, I remember last week I asked some questions. One was about the shapeshifter. I asked if the shapeshifter could shift into people and then get their memories, because she just happened to know the safe code to Huey's safe. She happened to know some information that would perfectly mimic Starlight. We found out that was true. Homelander's plan is coming into fruition because we find out that Sage knew that most of this shit was going to happen in general. We never found out what was in that notebook, which was a bitch because I really wanted to know what was in there. But, the plan starts to work. He outs Victoria Newman on live TV. He lasers her and it just bounces right off her chest. The look on her face when he lasers her was hilarious, by the way, because she looked absolutely shooketh. And I really enjoyed seeing her that way. And then she realizes that Homelander he's a huge train wreck. He stopped listening to Sage. She knew the plan was going to go straight to hell. So she calls Huey to try to make a deal to get out. She wants to get out. She wants to get her daughter out. She wants to protect them. She tells Huey that the reason why he can trust her is because she's giving him the location to her daughter, which she didn't give to anybody, including Stan Edgar, who I thought was going to be in this episode and he wasn't. So that was really cool. The shapeshifter can absolutely siphon your memories. It's been happening forever. She's a sociopath, so that's why she is shifting into Annie and also banging Huey all the time.
A lot.
Also proposing to Huey, which was crazy. Huey noticed a lot of little things that were off about her, but nothing too bad because she kept him satisfied, essentially. So it took him a while, but he finally realized that it wasn't her. Found out that she was the shifter, told MM. They had a really funny moment about that, trying to act normal. It didn't work. She clocked that they had figured out who she was. So she just goes on the warpath, the attack, if you will. And Kimiko, I expected Kimiko to beat her ass, but Kimiko got
a question about her though. How was she just eating bullets like that?
almost every soup is like immune to bullets in this show. Like
Okay, so I
all the
didn't know if that
soups
was a
that
thing
have,
because she gets choked out, but she could eat bullets like it was nobody's business.
mhm. There's a bunch of soups in this show that just don't die when they get shot. Not every single one, obviously, but pretty much any soup that's going to live longer than one episode, if they get shot, it bounces off. Same thing happened with Victoria Newman. That's why they had to make the virus specifically for her because they couldn't penetrate her skin, right? So I don't really know why that is, but a lot of soups in this show, that's like one of their default powers. They're
Okay.
stronger than most people. So yeah, there's that. Um, and Sage, she lets us know off the rip that her power is her brain. Everything else is normal. So if she gets shot in the leg, she gets shot in the heart, she gets shot in the face. That's it for her. But if she gets shot in her brain, that's her superpower. That's what's super able. So she can heal from that. Anyway, what else happens? The president, right before he gets inaugurated or whatever, he gets outed as being kind of a POS, so he's not there. Victoria's supposed to be the president, but she unfortunately dies because Butcher, in a last ditch effort to, coax Ryan into easing into going back with Grace and figuring out how to be a good person and not with Homelander, Grace kind of oversteps and ruins it for him, and she tells Ryan everything before Butcher's ready for him to know. And after that happens, he gets pissed off and pushes the shit out of her. Grace dies. She cracks her head on the wall, and then Butcher at that point is so just done and broken that he completely gives himself over to the parasite that's killing him, that's pretending to be his dead friend or whatever. So it's like I said earlier, it's like a whole ass Venom situation. It's just like these Venom tentacles that shoot out of him,
He reminds
just
me
like
of
they
Ben
shot out of the
from
rabbit.
Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, I mean it's another Venom esque character as well. So yeah, that all tracks. So the tentacles come out, they grab Victoria Newman, and they literally just rip her apart. Like they just tear all her fucking limbs off, or rip her in half, excuse me, and she's dead. He knocks her daughter out because she tries to help, and shit just starts going crazy. What else happens? Ashley is afraid she's gonna die because they need a body that has dirt on Vought, and she doesn't include her own name because she's trying to give herself time, and she knows a lot of the soups are stupid. So it's actually the dumbest soup, which is Deep, that remembers, hey, if everybody has dirt on us, shouldn't Ashley be on this list? And Homelander's like, yeah, sure, kill her, whatever. She goes and takes V, and then starts mutating essentially, and then we don't see her anymore for the rest of the episode. So we got to wait on that. We see that Firecracker is eating a bunch of cilantro to make her breast milk taste different, which Homelander likes, but she's also coughing and probably dying because of the medicine she's taking in order to induce lactation. It makes her heart bigger, so she's having heart palpitations. The only reason she's alive at all is because she's a soup, so that's crazy. Um, Annie finally like rips her hand skin off to escape the shackles that she's in. She goes to save the president. She goes to save Huey, and she's super pissed off because Huey's been banging the
No more than 20.
no more than 20 times. Yeah,
She's like, how
he's
many
been
times
banging
did you
the
sleep together?
shifter.
No more than under 20.
Yeah, and the when
In
that
like
when that scene
2 or
popped
3
up,
days.
yeah, it's been like a week, I believe, but still, you're still right. But the thing with that scene that bothered me was like she perfectly imitated you down to your most intimate memories that you had from childhood that only Huey would know, or your mom or whatever. And you're mad at Huey for falling for it. That Soup's whole job is to literally assume the life of other people, and it's good at its job. And you're mad at Huey for falling for that. He also is the reason why the president was alive. Well, kind of president was alive towards the end of it because Huey figured it out. Huey was the one that was using his brain and all of that. But like, he was upset because all of the stuff that she wanted from Huey, he was giving to not her, right? And I understand that to a certain point, but like Annie this whole season, Starlight, whatever you want to call her, hasn't had her shit together the whole season, and Huey's been trying desperately to help her out so much. And he's had like the worst life this season. His dad died. He's the one that had to kill him. His mom, that's been gone since he was a child, came back into his life, and he's trying not to hate her and have a relationship. He's trying to continue his relationship with Annie. He got assaulted a couple of fucking times, including with the shapeshifter, because that's essentially unconsensual. Like, he's just been getting wrecked this whole season. So his life really sucks, and Annie's like the only good thing that he actually has aside from the team, the boys. We see that Kimiko and Frenchie like actually make up, and she tells him the truth. The reason why she was pushing him on Colin so bad is because she didn't think that she was worth it, and he wanted her to be with someone. She wanted him to be with someone that was better, and he told her there's nobody better than her. They finally make out like for real this time. Um, but shit goes to pot again because Homelander's plan is working out. Well, Sage's plan is working out. Got a phase 2 to the plan, and she lets Homelander know next time, listen to her. And he's like, next time? What do you mean? And she's pretty much saying that she's planned all of this out so much so that that's only phase 1 of their plan, and phase 2 is about to start, which is just insane to me. So much happening. Characters from Gen V show back up at the end of the episode, and all the boys are getting captured. You see MM get knocked out by Love Sausage again. He gets literally punched with someone's dick, and it passes out. Sucks for him. He's out and captured. Huey gets captured. Frenchie gets captured and whispered into his ear by that one. I can't remember her name right now, but she's got the power to like mind control people with her voice. So he's going with her. And then we hear Kimiko talk for the first time in the entire series. And she's saying no because the person that she loves is being mind controlled to do something he doesn't want to do. And she's really upset about it. She's getting captured as well. The only person that makes it out is Annie, or Starlight, whatever you want to call her, because she starts to fly, and like expertly so this time. And fast too. Like, she's gone. She's the fuck out of there. And Huey tells her essentially to leave because he knows that she can, so she does. And then we see that Butcher has the virus. Mallory is dead. Victoria is dead, and Butcher is going to initiate whatever his plan is, which is to release this virus and kill all the Supes that he can, including Ryan, because Butcher is locked away and he's now being killed by that parasite. So much going on in this episode, so much popping off. I know that the episode got a bad rating on like IGN. They gave it like a 6 or something, and I thought that was fucking insane because this episode was fantastic. The season itself was really good. The finale was exactly what we wanted it to be, and it still left us with enough questions to be ready for the next season. I know that Gen V season 2 is supposed to tie directly into this. So I'm really excited. I had a lot of fun watching the show, and I'm sad that it's over, man. Like, I know that we get one more season of The Boys proper before it's all over. But apparently people are just now understanding that Homelander's a total piece of shit. And to all the people who didn't know that going in, my question
What the hell
is,
have they been watching?
exactly, that's the question. What the hell have you been watching? He's been the bad guy since episode 1, first scene of the show. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's been great.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Boys is not really missed, I would say. Like, all the seasons have been fun. Really enjoyed it. I'm curious to see how many episodes we get for the finale for the last season. I mean, it's got to at least be 8, right? Like, it can't be under 8, I would think. But
yeah, I agree. It's got to be at least 8.
I mean, I think they've all been 8. Maybe have we had 10?
They've been enough. Like, I don't know how many off the top of my head, but enough. It's so little needed, and it's not been so long where I feel like they were just adding filler. So yeah, it's been a good, healthy balance.
I think it'll be good. I'm excited to see it wrap up, and it's probably about time. Like, you don't want to like overdo it, and like, we need to see the stuff happen with Homelander. Like, we've been dragging it out now for a while, and you've been building and building. It's time for the conclusion, and I'm excited. It's been really good. Watch The Boys if you haven't already. We're running low on time, so we're going to quickly transition from boys to dragons.
All right, so the opening it's different now. We see the battle at Rook's Rest when it first starts off. We also see Sunfire's tail. We see a bunch of dead bodies. We see Aemon standing victorious. There's Sunfire on the left. Maelys is on the right, and Vhagar is above him. If you're paying attention, you can see all of that. The Lannister army arrives at Golden Tooth, which is led by Jason Lannister, the twin brother of Tywin Lannister, the master of coin for the Greens. The Prince Regent, Aemon, is pissed because Jason Lannister has sent a raven demanding that he be their dragon escort, which is crazy that he's demanding something from our king right now. He's a very different ruler from his brother. He's confident. He removes Alicent almost fucking immediately from the council permanently. And we see that Alicent is being treated like shit because they're very misogynist in this time. That people still are, but like women don't have a place on the court, and it's really sad to see because she's the reason why all of this is happening. If we, other than Otto, if we go back to it, but she's the one who got the ball rolling. She made the shit happen. So there's that. You see that Aemon wants to go to Harrenhal and take it over, and he also is like not silently. He's straight up hoping to battle Daemon and hopefully kill him. Corlys is early for his first meeting as Rhaenyra's new hand of the queen. So I thought that was really cool to see him there. In the book, he's absolutely pissed off at Rhaenyra, and it takes way longer for him to become hand. So I do like this change. It is a change, but it's a change that I enjoy. Rhaenyra calls on the Lord Commander, I think his name's Stefan Darkly. I just put S Darkly in my notes, but I think it's Stefan Darkly, to attempt to claim a dragon, and they're going to attempt for him to claim Sea Smoke. God, he has Targaryen blood in. It's just pretty fucking thin, as we see. He just lost his father. He lost his home, which was Duskendale, that we saw Kristen take over. So he's ready to jump at this chance to be something more, to be a dragon rider, to be essentially a god. He's ready for anything at this point. We see Daemon is dreaming of his Viserys. It's like a reimagining of Prince Baelin's death, which is Viserys' son that died like the day after his birth, and he was called an heir for a day, or the heir for a day. Which I really like this scene because every single time Daemon has to deal with his emotions, he runs away. He does something. He fucks off on his dragon. It's just like a teenager getting in their car and driving off, right? It's the same thing. So peep that in this dream, this is the first time that Daemon doesn't immediately defend himself for something that he's done. So he clearly feels bad about all of the shit that happened with his brother. And I really, really like that because this is the first time we get, not the first time, but this is the first like really meaningful time that we get actual character development with Daemon. So I really like to see that. He's trapped in the dream until he's woken up. He runs into Simon Strong. His fear turns into anger. His anger turns into kind of the Yoda shit. Fear turns into hate, or anger turns to hate, blah, 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 dark side, blah, blah, blah. That's essentially what's happening. Aemon is turning fully to the dark side when he's not sleeping because he's not sleeping. He's being fucking haunted and shit. So, like, stuff's happening to him. He packs his bags in order to leave, to run away again, but then he runs into Alice Rivers. And she's kind of already there. She knows exactly. She's waiting for him to run into her. He's tired of all the spooky shit, essentially, and she says that it's the curse of Harrenhal, the person who Harrenhal is named after. And she knows that Daemon runs from his feelings. She straight calls him on all his bullshit, like in this conversation that they have. She knows way too much about him. And She also commands an owl. Remember in an episode or two ago, she said that she's not a person, she's a barn owl, and I love the fact that she has an owl companion. I thought that was really cool to see. Just cool continuity, I thought. Eamon actually asks her for help, or counsel, if you will, but he does ask her for help because he can't do this shit by himself. And he asks her what he should do, and she says essentially to do nothing because in 3 days' time the winds will shift. You don't necessarily know what that means. That's what she tells Damon, and he listens to her. And it's confirmed that she's fucking real because they mention her, they mention talking to her, they mention her trying to help out Grover Tully, all that shit. So she's not imaginary or just in his mind. She is a real person. So that's cool. Also, she went to go help Grover Tully. After she saw him, he died. So I don't know if she did something to kill him or what, but I thought that was cool to see that they put that in the show. I mean, something happened because she went to go see your boy.
3 days time and then he dies. I think she went and finished the deed.
I think so. I think she did something to him for sure, but it's not confirmed in the show yet. The second dream that he has, Daemon is consoling Viserys after Queen Emma's death, which never actually happens. So I thought that was really cool. That's another bit of character growth. So Daemon, like I said earlier, clearly feels bad about not being there for his brother and all the shit that happened with his brother. He feels really bad about it, so he's changing that in his dreams, which I thought was cool. Once he wakes up, Daemon doesn't run. He cries. For the first time in the show, we see him actually upset. He is crying, thinking about his brother. Sea Smoke burns the absolute shit out of Stephen Tarklin. He like bows down to obey him for a second and then says, nah, fuck that, and then burns him. And then Stefan like cuts his throat while he's on fire to end the pain. I thought that was fucking hilarious, but also sad. Was it? I thought it was Stefan that did that.
I'm pretty sure it's the other person. It was one of the I don't know what they're called, the ones that were singing the song.
The keepers, the dragon keepers.
Yeah, I feel like it was them because he just kind of burns, doesn't he? One of them, like
I thought he was the one slitting his throat. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, one of them does. Somebody slits their throat while burning.
Yeah, while burning. Yeah. This was a huge blow to Rhaenyra. Also, it gets people thinking that
what did he have
she's
blood?
Not fit.
It wasn't just. It was something else, though, right? It was like they said a name, not Targaryen.
Talking about for
him,
for
yeah.
The Stefan guy. Yeah, like his great great grandmother was a Targaryen princess or some shit.
But what do they call him? They called him something.
I don't remember.
They didn't call him like Targaryen. There was something else because she mentioned it. She was like, I thought if anybody could do it, it was such and such. Like she says the name a couple times, and I can't remember what the hell it was called.
I don't remember either because in the book they don't mention.
I guess it's like not like a subtitle. I don't know. Anyways, all right. Sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. It's all good. This after that happens though, this kind of just proves the men's point that she's not fit to lead, especially in times of war. But I forget that council member's name, but he starts talking mad shit to her in the hallway, and she slaps the fucking disrespect clean out of his mouth, bro. She was like, she did. She slapped the shit out of that dude, and she was like, I think it's my fault that you've forgotten how to fear me. And I was like, Rhaenyra, talk your shit.
Yeah,
I love that scene so much. Oh, God. And people, as soon as she did it, like it was in front of people, and all people do is talk. So, like, they started talking immediately after that shit. And he kept his fucking mouth shut from then on. Then we cut to the next scene, and we see Alan being asked by Corlys, actually, to be a first mate of one of the ships, of his main ship. And I thought it was cool that he did that. He clearly did it because he needs it, especially after the loss of his wife. But Alan doesn't really want to do it. He asks him if it's an order, so he'll only do it if it's an order. Which is crazy because we see his brother is around and notices what's happening. And then notice when Alan is shaving, he's shaving his head bald. Right? When he's shaving, notice that his hair is white.
Yep.
So I really enjoyed seeing that. He's hiding the fact that he is the illegitimate son of Corlys. And his brother's hair is long, but it's not white. So I thought that was really cool. Um, Adam is his name. Sorry, I couldn't think of his name. But Adam wants to join Corlys, not necessarily because he loves or respects Corlys all that much, but because he's tired of living the way that they live, right? He wants that money, he wants the fame, he wants to be something more than what he is. But Alan doesn't give a shit. He's totally content with doing what he's doing. So he's like cutting his hair, the white hair, with that rejecting Corlys essentially. And also, I don't know if you noticed, but I had to play the scene back. But they both have like the same knife.
Mm-hmm.
It's like twin knives that they have that they're using. Alan is using his to cut his white hair off, rejecting Corlys, while Adam is using his to repair the ropes from that ship, which is really cool because he's embracing Corlys in a way, doing that. So I mean, I just thought that was a really cool juxtaposition between those two characters. Let's see. I have to find where my notes are because I kind of was just going off the top of my head. Small folk are going through famine right now. Sylvie is spreading words of discontent about the food that's going on with the prince region and like how he's throwing parties and shit and how they see all the sheeps and goats going to be eaten by dragons. They have like no meat. Their food is rotten as shit. They got nothing except for fish soup apparently, which is sounds as bad as it probably is. But food is being used to feed all of them while all they have is fish soup. And I think his name is Ulf. ULF, Ulf, I think is how you pronounce that. He's watching that. Massaria tells Rhaenyra the plan is working. Um, Laris tells Aemon about the small folk and that, what's getting ready to happen with them and that he needs a hand. And Aemon pretty much tells him that he's not a fool and that he does need a hand, but tells him to find Otto Hightower because he wants his grandsire to be his hand because he's, if nothing else, loyal to the family, which is true. But I thought that was a really big slap in the face to Laris because he thought that he could kind of run over Aemon just like he did with Aegon, but it doesn't work that way. Aemon is way smarter than Aegon, and like he pays attention to small details, unlike his brother does. Aegon is awake, and Aemon asks him what he remembers. He presses down really hard on his burnt ass chest, and Aegon, like a little bitch, says he remembers nothing. But Aegon also knows that his life is in danger, even more so than it was before, because he's hurt. He can't defend himself. He can't really tell anybody that Aemon tried to kill him because Aemon will just take his ass out. No problem. So there's that. Rhaena is walking with Joffrey in the Vale, and they see signs of a large fucking dragon. I thought that was really cool. And they're setting the scene, letting you know that Rhaena is probably going to be a future dragon rider. So I thought that was really cool. Jace and Rhaenyra are talking, and he again tells her that she needs Daemon. And then she goes, Daemon, 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 which as soon as she said that, it just reminded me of Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. That's kind of how she's complaining about it. She pretty much just wants people to stop telling her she needs a man by her side in order to get shit done, which is fair. She doesn't need Daemon to get shit done. She just needs Daemon's dragon. So I totally understand. Saria tells Rhaenyra that the gift is sent, and we find out what the gift is. Jace is confused about what the gift is, but it ends up being ships sailing to King's Landing that are full of supplies to remind the small folk that their queen still thinks of them. Even though Rhaenyra is the reason in the first place and why they're going hungry, it was still a smart move, so Massaria knows what the fuck she's doing. The gifts are not in the book. That's a show thing. There's a lot of stuff in this episode that's not in the book that actually benefits the episode, and I really like it. Alicent, she hears of Aegon's recovery. She hears that it's going to be brutal, super painful, and she tells him that she's sorry, for being a part of the reason why he went to go he did that was stupid and got fucked up in the first place. Alicent bids farewell to her brother, Sir Gawain. He he clocks that Allison and Kristen are looking at each other, and he doesn't really like it. And she asks him where Otto is, and he doesn't know or care. He didn't give a shit about his dad because his dad only really gave a shit about Allison. He took her to the courts, and all the men in their family get shipped off to be, warriors or whatever. So he has problems with Allison. Their family isn't happy go lucky, as we can see. But she does ask about Dayron, her fourth child, and what he's like. And the biggest thing that we get from this is that he's 16 and he's actually kind. He's a kind person. And she was very thankful of that because she thinks that the place that she's in, King's Landing, being on the court, being royalty essentially, is making her and all the people around her really bad people. It's kind
Is
of
that the
true.
child you've been wondering about?
This whole season, yeah.
Yeah,
Because he's in the book, but he hasn't been in the show. I'm like, where the fuck is this kid? So I'm glad that they finally mention him in a better way.
So I wonder why he got sent off. Why Viserys agreed to let him be sent off.
He got sent off to be a cupbearer for another king somewhere because a lot of the men in the high get sent off like that. And she already had one son, which was Aegon, the oldest. Then she had another son, which is Aemon. So like once they have their daughter, they have Aemon. So the fourth one kind of got sent off. But one of the reasons why he got sent off is so he didn't end up in the struggle for power like the other brothers. At least that's what the show is telling us. In the book, I think it's I can't remember the exact reason in the book why he got sent off, but I know he got sent off for some fuck shit reason and ends up being a bit of a better person in general than they are. Whatever that means later on, because I don't want to get into too many spoilers right now. But let's see, Hugh straight up beats a person up for some food when the mob is going crazy from those gifts that got sent by Rhaenyra, and takes it. The crowd surrounds Alicent and Helena and starts fucking going in on them, dude. They're like trying to kill their ass because they're fucking hungry. They throw a fish at this bitch at one point and it slaps her in the fucking face. She's got blood on her face. And I thought that was hilarious. I'm not even gonna lie. I started laughing out loud that shit in the episode. By that bitch, I mean Alicent. They throw a dead fish at her and it hits her in the face, and I thought it was hilarious. And then they're saying "Long live Queen Rhaenyra" while they're doing this because they're so pissed off at the Hightower version of the family, which makes sense. Kingsguard members cut off an old dude's fucking hand while he's trying to get next to Alicent. She tells them to sheathe their swords, so they get in a really bad position where they have to sheathe their swords and keep people backed off without killing them. But the Kingsguard, we know, is full of idiots at this point, so like they don't know how to do shit. Alicent and Helena finally get away on the carriage, which is great. But how is Aemon going to respond? Like that's the question that I have. Once he figures out that his sister and his mom get attacked by the small folk, I highly doubt that he's going to be happy about it. So that's going to be some fuckery that's going to have to be dealt with later. Larys takes away Aegon's milk of the poppy in order to talk to him. And he gives him some advice, and he gives him this big ass speech that I don't want to like get too much into, but he pretty much says that they're going to underestimate you now, and you can use that to your advantage. That's pretty much the gist of what he says to her. Then at the end of this, we get Rhaenyra getting an update from Mysaria. She says that her and Daemon are two halves of the same whole. Rhaenyra is very vulnerable with her in this, talking about herself and what she wants. She returns the favor. Mysaria returns the favor by answering a question that she had earlier, how she got the scars on her neck. She pretty much says that she's been abused all her childhood by her dad. She got pregnant by her own father. It's a whole shitty situation, but now she's unable to bore children. It really sucks for her, but she uses that memory, that painful memory, to like motivate her today. And Rhaenyra treats her as an equal, so she will serve a woman that is meant to be queen, and she really believes that she's meant to be queen. Then they start making out. It's real passionate and sweet. This is not in the book, but it makes a lot of sense because the actress that plays Rhaenyra is a queer woman in real life. So I figured that they were going to give her some kind of queer reading that wasn't just her and Allison. It just made sense. So this is where it was. And then what's his name? Laurent Marbrand, I think is his name. He's a Kingsguard Knight or whatever. He shows up, accidentally cockblocking the moment, and tells them that Sea Smoke has been seen over the Spice Town, and he has a new rider. Rhaenyra fucking pieces out, gets on her dragon, and goes off to see who's riding Sea Smoke and if she can convince them to join her side.
Rewind for a minute? I think this is the first time we've seen the dragon actually pick the rider instead of vice versa. Like seek. 100%. Well, hold on, I said that wrong. The dragon always, I guess, picks the rider, but the dragon actually itself, like, seeked out the rider. Like, it went and found its rider on its own and, like, kind of cornered him, was like, "Hey, what's up?
Get on my back, bitch."
Yeah, like I don't know that we've ever had that, have we?
No, not in that way. No, it hasn't happened like that. And I didn't write it down in my notes, but right before Rhaenyra has her super tender moment with Massaria, Adam, one of the twin brothers with long hair, he is chased by Sea Smoke,
yep.
And then Sea Smoke corners him and pretty much bows to him, but we don't see what happens after that.
Yeah, I mean, we
know what happens.
Adam was going to be a rider, and Sea Smoke
exactly.
was the logical dragon choice, pretty much, because he's already been watching him for like at least 2 episodes, right? He's watched him go over, and like Adam's kind of like enamored with him.
Yeah, Sea Smoke has now that we got into the scene, and you go back and watch the other scenes again. Sea Smoke has been circling around looking for Adam this whole time because they have like a connection essentially. So he's been waiting for a moment to have Adam to himself essentially. And he finally does get that moment. All the other people run off and Adam runs essentially the wrong way or maybe the right way. Sea Smoke essentially in dragon speak essentially is like, "Yo, hey,
you're saying got something like to talk about." He Skyrim'd him?
He did. He really did. He really did, Skyrim.
They're also, I can't remember her name. She's at the Veil with
Jane Eyre.
Is that the one that doesn't have a dragon?
Yeah. Oh no, you're talking about Daemon's youngest daughter.
Yes. Oh my God! It starts with an R, doesn't it?
Rhaena.
Yeah. She's gonna get. So they mention a dragon there, and she's pretty much like, "You played me for a fool. There's already a dragon here. I saw like the bones and the burn, and whatever the Lady of the Veil is like. Yeah, that's a wild dragon." And foreshadowing, obviously they need dragon riders. I'm gonna say since she doesn't have a dragon, she's Valyrian blood, Targaryen blood, wild dragon. That's about to be her dragon.
Absolutely.
And I can't remember. It's a weird name, and it's not a name we've heard. Sheep Stealer or something. Is that right? It's not a name that's been mentioned, I don't think, at all.
Yeah, no, you got it right.
Okay. Boom. And we still haven't seen Silverwing. I don't even know if we've ever seen Silverwing.
We haven't seen Silverwing, but Jace did mention Silverwing in this episode.
They brought that 2 episodes ago. They brought up that one after the other one, the other big old one. I just went blank. Vermithor? No. What the hell's it called?
You had Silverwing, Vermithor, Sea Smoke.
Yeah, that's okay. It was Vermithor. I was making sure I said it right. Okay, yeah. But yeah, obviously I'm still saying Hugh is going to get a dragon. I don't know how the hell that's going to happen. I mean, they've already turned people.
In the book, Hugh joins the Blacks, and then
I mean, they're showing him too much for him not to have a role. Like they've showed other people, but he's first off looking at him, he looks like a Targaryen with a beard. He's gonna definitely get a dragon. I don't know which one, but he's gonna get a dragon.
Yeah, like so pretty much everybody that they've shown us in this season are going to be future writers.
Who? Well, okay. So who's the other one?
Rhaena gets one. Hugh gets one.
Sheep Stealer is Rhaena. I'm pretty much say that one. They've lined that one up. Sea Smoke is Adam. Hugh's going to get either Vermithor or Silverwing, and then who's the fourth?
It is. Shit, hold on.
Because they threw us a curveball with the Wild Dragon and Sheep Stealer.
Yeah, it's damn. Hold on. It's a couple of Dragon Riders. Oh, it's the dude that we thought was bullshitting about being a Targaryen.
Oh, the dude in the bar that
Mm-hmm.
he's actually Targaryen and gets a dragon?
I mean, I don't want to give you
Well,
too
he's
much.
not Targaryen,
yeah.
but he has Targaryen blood, I guess, in some.
I don't know. So here's the thing: the show is treating things a lot differently than the books do. So I don't know how they're gonna justify in the book. Yeah,
I mean, they have to, because we're running out of people at this point. It doesn't have a dragon or the ability.
Yeah, we got the dragon fight. You know, the three dragons fighting episode. Now we're just getting the build up to the actual War of Dragons.
How many seasons?
And that'll be the next season.
Didn't they say it was 2 or 3 seasons or something?
For this show, it's either I don't think they said how many seasons they're going to do. I tell you.
I mean, they got at least another couple, I would think, is the way it's going.
I mean, yeah, they are adding stuff and they're like extending a couple of things for sure. But that's kind of how you do it to make the drama make sense in a show like this. I honestly just hope that they do 1 to 2 more seasons because I don't want this show to stretch out too long and be trash. I don't want the ending to be garbage or rushed. I want them to actually put time and effort into it because you can see the time and effort that's being put into the show because just watching this season as opposed to last season even, everything looks better, right? So like seeing dragons fighting was something that we didn't really get to see on this scale. So I really like that, but I want them to keep improving. I don't want the show to just snowball into being something garbage like the last season of Game of Thrones proper. Like I haven't been this excited to watch Game of Thrones material since the very beginning of the last season of Game of Thrones. And even with that said, I knew that the quality that we were getting for Game of Thrones wasn't what it should have been, what it could have been even. So I'm just hoping that they just keep taking their time, putting the stuff out when they're ready. That's what I want. I just want good media. If it's gonna take a while to make it, fucking take the time. I just want it to be worth a damn.
Christian just hates because of Khaleesi.
Bro, like
we're not going on this rant. We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Not doing it.
Nobody cares about her, anyways.
Not doing it.
I don't know what the infatuation is with her. I stopped caring about her early in the show. It's like I don't care about you. Give me oh my god, dude. I'm dropping the ball hard.
Yep.
Wow. He's like my second favorite character in the show, and I just
Tyrion?
Yes. Dude, why was I struggling? I was like, what is his name? I could see him and I couldn't think of it. Yeah, Tyrion is the shit. I still
because I drink and I know things.
Do what? You drink and you know things?
Mm.
Tyrion's a shit. Just saying. Tyrion is awesome. All right. Do we have anything else? Or are you done now?
That's it.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that means it is time that we
pass the whiskey.
That's right. Get your
whiskey.
Because it is indeed the last call question. And I'm assuming Christian has one.
Nah, I don't really this time.
Jordan dropped the ball. Where's Jordan? Get your pitchforks out. It's time to get after Jordan, making our heads hurt every week. So, we got to pivot.
I do. I have a question. It's just not necessarily from Jordan, and it doesn't have to do with what we've been talking about today, but I do have a question. It's not a super hard, in-depth question that we've been having, but I do have a question. When you get into certain genres and stuff, there's usually a catalyst, right? So with horror, we talked about what was the movie that kind of got us into it. We've talked about with video games, what's the game that kind of got you into gaming, that got you into playing, all that stuff. But we never quite talked about with anime. I know you're newer to the game. What's the anime that got you started on watching anime?
probably be a two-parter for me.
Okay.
Like, I would say the one that probably got my foot in the door more will be Dragon Ball Z. I used to watch it. It used to come on, well, obviously Toonami, which a lot of you out there probably have no clue what the hell I'm talking about. But back in the day, it used to come on there at some point. I don't remember the year, Christian. I have no clue. But it would come on like around like 3:30 or 4:30, something like that. Like it was like early afternoon or like the afternoon evening. And obviously I'm sure it was like a rerun from Toonami because it didn't used to like air. Was it Saturday night? When the hell was Toonami?
Toonami came on weekdays.
Okay, so what is that when it was? Whenever it was, I would literally get home from school and I would watch the episode of Dragon Ball Z, and then a lot of times I'd be pissed because it would be a filler and I'd have to wait, and this would go on for a long time. But I watched so much Dragon Ball Z. The other answer that really got me interested, and I remember just thinking, Dragon Ball Z, I think you've touched on this before, scratched an itch as a young man with like the fighting, and like it pretty much covered what I needed in that time. You know, like it drew your attention, it drew your interest, all that stuff. There was a movie, shout out to TJ, he showed it to me, and I'll never forget the first time I watched it. It finished, and I was just like, that movie was beautiful. Like the art, the story, all of it was awesome. And to this day, I would still say that's my favorite anime movie, probably. Princess Mononoke.
What movie was it? Okay.
It blew my mind, like just watching it. I remember just the wolves. They're still probably my favorite scene, and it's when he's pushing the door and he's bleeding and he's like his foot slipping in the blood. And I was just like, I don't know. I was just in love with the movie. I loved it, and I still love it. Can watch it now happily. So I would say Dragon Ball Z and Princess Mononoke are probably my gateways.
Okay. That's a good question. I mean, that's a good answer, man. I think everybody that's around our age, like within like, you know.
But the pivot to this is, do you remember the Dragon Ball shirts? Similar to, if you're watching on YouTube, I guess, I don't know what they were called. I guess they were kind of like Hawaiian shirts. They were like button up, but they were like the silky material.
Silky material.
Do you remember them being the thing to wear to like
I had
school
those,
dances
dude.
and shit? I remember if you wore one of them, you were just like, oh shit, yeah, it's on now. Look at this. I got trunks on my shirt. What's up?
Man, dude, I remember
you know what I'm talking
those
about,
shirts.
though, right?
Yeah, dude, I fucking
bring
had
them back.
that shit, dog.
I wish TJ was here because TJ always had some. And I'd be like, damn, stop getting those shirts. Like the sick anime shirts. It wouldn't not necessarily had to be Dragon Ball Z. It could be different ones, but man, they went hard back then.
Dude, we had the silk Dragon Ball Z shirts, we had the silk Pokemon shirts, and then just the silk shirts with like dragons in general.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like flames and shit.
Just bright ass shirts. Like these shirts were bright. Very vibrant colors.
Fuck yeah, dude. I remember. I've forgotten about that until you said it, but yeah.
Bring
you
it back.
Unlocked the core
Let's
memory.
bring it back. We're going to start a trend.
You had those and then like Jinko jeans and shit.
Oh, God. Dude.
Yeah, I remember.
We're showing our age.
I know. A bunch of people
all right,
don't
before
even know.
you say your, I guess your gateway anime, either Shino? What? Or Teen Titans got me started with anime and Kiki's Delivery Service. Oh, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Also Beyblade. That's from Mrs. Sin. Then Elf says mine was Cowboy Bebop or Trigun. Look, I'm gonna catch hate on this. I've never watched Cowboy Bebop or Trigun, but I've heard great things about them. I know. Look, I'm still new. I can play this. Yes, I'm obsessed with Demon Slayer, and I've watched more. I've actually been watching more anime, and I'm getting into it, and I enjoy it. But there's a lot I've missed out on, and I'm aware of this. So be patient with me. But those are some I've never seen. There's a couple that I feel like get mentioned a lot. Cowboy Bebop, Trigun. There's another one around that time frame. Christian, help me.
Outlaw Star, Tenchi
No. It's gonna
Sailor Moon.
I've heard of Sailor Moon. No, but there's I feel like there's maybe not. I feel like there's another one in that's like a really big one that I've heard a lot.
I mean, there's pretty much anything that was on the Toonami lineup.
Damn, I'll think about it off pod, and I'll have to come back. Also, I asked TJ the other day. Shout out TJ since we were bringing him up. His favorite anime, and I feel like he said potentially. I don't remember where it was in it. He called it a masterpiece, though, and I think it's your favorite anime, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Brotherhood, yeah.
And he said it was. He called. I'm pretty sure his exact words were masterpiece. It has everything you want.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Is that so? Can I watch that without watching other ones?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe next. I gotta do Blue Lock though. I've told you I'm gonna watch Blue Lock.
Blue Lock is shorter too. It'll be easier to get through.
I need to watch it. Okay. What was your gateway?
You got me. Hold on. You got me thinking now. There's Dragon Ball Z. There's One Piece. What else was on there? Big O, Inuyasha, Tenchi Muyo, Outlaw Star, Sailor Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho, not Voltron. Gundam. Was it Gundam?
Gundam, yeah, I always heard Gundams. I never really watched Gundam either, but I missed out on everything, all that. Like,
okay. For me, my
damn, I don't know what it is. It's gonna bug the shit out of me.
Robotech, maybe?
No,
I don't know, dude. Those are all like the older ones. It's called Samurai Troopers in Japanese, but Ronin Warriors. Was it Ronin Warriors?
Mm-mm. No, I don't know. I may be tripping. It may be just those, and I'm trying to add a third one for no reason.
Okay.
When I figure it out, though, I will return to this conversation.
Okay. My gateway,
what was your gateway?
was also Dragon Ball Z. That was the first anime that I remember like actively watching and realizing that it was different. It didn't look like any of the animation that I was watching at the time.
Yeah.
And I still remember, to this day, I remember how I got
Batman and stuff's not going to count, right? It's anime.
No,
anime.
No, that's like Western style anime. This isn't Japanese anime.
Okay.
So like,
about to say,
first time I got introduced to Dragon Ball Z,
my Dragon Ball, obviously, like all that was my shit.
So I had a friend named Ben. I went to Ben's house and he asked me a question that I didn't understand. He was like, "Hey man, how does the theme song to Dragon Ball Z go again?" And I was like, "What is that?" And he was like, the theme song to Dragon Ball Z, and I don't know what that is. He was like, "Oh man, you don't know what Dragon Ball Z is?" "Oh, what is that?" He said, "The show. It's really cool. It's about people fighting and they can shoot blast, and it's about the dragon and he's got 7 balls. And
Ghost
you get
in
them
the
all,
Shell.
then...
I think that's one.
What?
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell, yeah. Ghost in the Shell's great too.
Ghost in the Shell and Berserk are two other. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to like look while we're on this subject while you're talking. I think those.
But he said, I was like, "Why is there a dragon? Why does he have 7 balls? And how do you get with?" And then after asking that question, he showed me an episode that came on TV, and it was the episode where the Saiyans had come down and Nappa was just like killing all of the people in the army or whatever, just blowing them up. And he like literally puts his fingers up and this explosion happens and kills a bunch of people. And I was just like, what just happened? He just what? I didn't understand. And then the next episode I saw was episode where Yamcha gets killed by the Cybermen or whatever. And it blew me away. I was like, they're fast. They're fighting so fast they can't be seen with the eyes unless you don't move. Like all this stuff was happening, and I was freaking out. And Gohan was a little kid; he could see him too. And Piccolo was this green alien dude that wasn't the bad guy somehow. And like, I don't know what the hell was going on, but I remember watching, completely enamored. And then I started watching, and obviously they do a lot of reruns, so I got to watch the whole thing over again and all this stuff, and I was just into it. But I did see 2 anime movies that changed the game for me, and I had watched a little bit of Dragon Ball Z. This is before I was a mega fan, right? So I've seen some episodes of Dragon Ball Z, but I saw these 2 anime movies on the Sci-Fi Channel way back in the day, and they would come on at like the oddest times. It'd be like 3 a.m. and you'd see these movies. One of them was called X. And X, I remember. I don't think X did, but X was about this group of like special swordsman kids that had powers that were trying to save the world, and there was one of them that was evil, and I can't remember the exact plot of X right now, but I know that it's a show, and I know that there's a movie that the show is based off of. And I remember watching that animated movie before I knew that it was a show, before I knew what anime was, and I loved it and I wanted to record it. That was back when we could record stuff on tape. And I've tried to
On our
record
age,
it and
man.
missed it. We are for sure. But I remember watching that, and the other anime movie that I was to this day is so good was Ninja Scroll. I saw Ninja Scroll on Sci-Fi, and I was just like, I don't know what this is, but it's the best thing I've ever seen, and I loved it. And it did have boobies in it, so there was another thing too. Like I loved Ninja Scroll; it was fantastic. It's still a masterpiece to this day. If you haven't seen Ninja Scroll Sin, then you need to
I have
find it.
not.
Matter of fact, I'll send it to you. I'll find it and I'll send it to you because it's worth it. But yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Elfin Chat brought up Akira, and that's another one I've heard great things about, but I have not seen.
Oh, gee, dude, you're missing out. You're
Look,
missing out.
I am newer to this. I have admitted this, and I have learned, and I've listened to suggestions, and I'm taking them and going with them. I've watched most of the suggestions that you guys have. I haven't watched JJK and stuff yet, though. Just I don't know. I don't know about that yet.
That's fair.
I don't know if I'm gonna be into it. I'll probably try.
I mean, I get it. I get that. That makes sense.
I've heard people love it.
I actually remember watching Ninja Scroll on YouTube. It's probably not on there anymore.
So before
back,
yeah,
go ahead. I was just gonna say, back in the day when YouTube was the wild, wild west, you could just watch anything on it. And I remember watching all kinds of anime on YouTube for free all the time.
So while we're on the anime in our gateway, I used to be really guilty of going to sites and downloading the meshes where you would have like a song like Linkin Park or something with like a Dragon Ball Z fight. Dude, I used to.
Yeah, those are called AMAs.
Dude,
AMV, excuse me.
Loved them so much. And there was one in particular, when Dolphins Cry by Live, I think it was. Bro, that whoever did that one slapped so hard. And I loved them so much. I would have so many of them, and I would just watch that and be like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I remember.
Because they would go so hard with the music. You have like your most time angsty music, we would be listening to, and then people just getting that ass whoop. God, bring them back too. Let's bring back the shirts and those.
So it's really funny that you bring that up because I actually just posted on my on all my socials essentially. I did a Gohan Super Saiyan 2 post, like I drew it, and I put Linkin Park in the background of it. Thanks to a buddy of mine, Will. But I did that in lieu of the AMVs that you're talking about, the anime music videos. That's why that's like that, and I thought that was really funny that you brought that up.
Those are so good. So good.
Yeah, dude.
God,
I remember,
miss those.
I remember that.
I miss those.
I don't really want to watch them now, but back then, dude, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Dude, imagine Body Snatcher with just some shit going crazy.
Just some Demon Slayer going on.
Bro, I will break everything in this room. I will just start throwing down. Oh, God. Ooh. Just imagine Rengoku fighting, dying. Just, oh, God.
I'm sure that exists, like, online. I'm sure you can find that.
No. I'm going to say it doesn't, because if I go down that rabbit hole, I don't know there's coming back. I'm about to be just...
Look, I'm about to look it up right now.
I'm going to go crazy. I swear to God, if there's... No. But see, like, it would be so much different. I don't think, Linkin Park and stuff, as much as I love them, I don't think that would excite me as much as if you just gave me some, like, I don't even know, Whitechapel or some this crazy, heavy, angry shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, dude, that'd be so good. Didn't TJ make some of those? TJ's, like, the center of the last call. Didn't he make some for some people? Didn't he make some for, like, Divisive and stuff?
Yeah, he did.
He made something. I'm about to message him in and be like, if you don't make me a Body Snatcher Demon Slayer right damn now. Christian, I swear, you better find one. If you find one and you send it, I'm literally going to start breaking stuff. I might flip
I
my
see
chair.
one for Lincoln Park right now.
Lincoln Park? I said no. I
Yeah.
don't want Lincoln. I
know that, but I don't see one for like anything too heavy right now.
Yeah, it's not there.
Most of these,
they're not going to do it.
Oh
I think
God,
body snatch would make sense. I'm pretty sure. First off, they're stupid heavy, but I'm pretty sure they went to Crunchyroll recently. I think.
Oh yeah.
A couple of them got to go like tour Crunchyroll. Like they invited them to come over.
That's awesome.
So I actually think like Kyle and them are anime fans, so it makes sense. Dude, bring them back. Silk shirts, Christian. Find us some shirts. Let's do this. We're bringing this back. Ooh, I wonder if
find us some shirts. Oh my God, you're about to, man.
Dude, I'm about to bring it all back.
Yeah, I can see like people doing Metallica, people doing Breaking Benjamin.
Popular. That was one you would find a lot. Linkin Park. Who else was another one back then? Limp Bizkit, I feel like was one. Korn.
Sure.
I don't know if I remember a Marilyn Manson one or not. Dude, it was all that stuff. It was so good. It was so good. See, this is what happens when Jordan drops the ball. Jordan, you go to timeout and just go to the corner of shame. Now you got me wanting to go look up stuff and buy silk shirts and just shit is spiraling bad. If next week, if I have a silk shirt on this damn podcast, I swear. You better hope I don't find one, Jordan. Oh my God. Dude, I know they're comfortable as hell too. You know they are, Christian. What?
No, I'm just laughing about it, man. And we got Inuyasha, Harodi Kenshin. You were talking about Akira earlier. Yeah, man. I watched all that stuff. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Beyblade, Gundam, Zoids. If you guys remember Zoids, that might be a throwback for a few of you guys. But yeah, I was definitely in on it. Ooh, hold up. Is this a Body Snatcher AMV that I'm looking? Hold on.
No, it's not. It's not. Christian's excited. No,
please.
No, Christian, don't you dare play it.
I'm about to send this to you right now.
All right,
ladies and gentlemen,
that's gonna do it for this episode of Sippin With Sin. I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far,
you gotta play this.
We're not playing it on here. We can't play it on there.
No, not right now. You gotta play it.
This is why we can't have nice things. Look, no, I'm not going down this rabbit hole. All right. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of Sippin With Sin. I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far, you're a real one. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. 107 episodes, and this was a long one. So thanks for listening. Sadly, we wrapped up The Boys this week, but we got more Game of Thrones. We have two more episodes, right?
For what was Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Two more episodes.
Yeah,
two more episodes.
And then at some point, there's an anime Christian was excited about that I haven't heard anything else about. It's supposed to be coming out, and I'm gonna be reading Demon Slayer because I know you all haven't heard enough about Demon Slayer and me rambling, and we got to talk about Interstellar and all that. And Christian I don't want to know what he's doing over there. But new episodes of Sippin With Sin come out every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time on all audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and my personal YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister. You can watch the live video version so you can see Christian making stink faces like he was just making. And if I end up indeed with a anime silk shirt, don't judge me if I do. It may happen. It is a possibility. Appreciate you all, though. Check it out every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time. Follow, subscribe, like, thumbs up, all that good stuff and things. It helps a ton. Also, check out Sippin With Sin on the social media sites, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook. And, yeah, at Sippin With Sin, SIPPIN with Sin. You can find me on my socials, IamSinister TV, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Twitch. Yeah, all that stuff. And then you can find me streaming on kick.com/IamSinister, and you can find me at youtube.com/IamSinister. Check it out there. Come say hello, follow, say I'm from the podcast. Or if you follow Sippin, say hello. I listen to the podcast. Show it love, spread it, share it with a friend. Christian, where can the lovely folks find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Vin and You guys can also find me on the TikTok at my full name, Christian Vincent. Contrary to popular belief, I don't like social media that much, so that's the only two places you guys can find me currently.
That's right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've made it this far, though. You are a real one, and you deserve a pat on the back and a crisp high five. It's time for you to go home, though. You don't have to leave. Well, I mean, you do have to leave. Actually, I take that back. You do have to leave. You got to get the hell up out of here. You don't have to go home, though. You can go where you want. You're grown, I'm assuming. You may not be grown. I don't know. Just go where you want. You got to get up out of here. We'll see you guys next week. It's time for Christian Shut It Down.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another episode of Sipping with Sin. Be sure to leave a 5-star review. Click that like button. Tell us what you want to see, what you want to hear in the comment section below. But above all else, I want you guys to listen to these 3 words that I tell you guys every episode. They could save your life. If you haven't heard it before, listen carefully. If you have, say them with me. Those 3 words are as follows. Don't get gutted.
See you guys next week.